He risked it all to build the house he needed to create the life he dreamed about.
I don't want to die rich, I want to live rich. I want to live, and then eventually we're going to die, but I hope I'm broke when I die, you know, that's the idea. And so, because I want to contribute something to the society, you know, to the world. But, you know, I want to leave the world a better place than when I found it.
And what's it like to be 98?
Well, you know, a lot of people ask me that. I don't see any difference in, sometimes I think I'm 15. They say, girl, don't you know how old you are? You're trying to do this or you're trying to do that. And I get along very well.
She's one of our rock stars of aging, and she's sharing words of wisdom on her journey to an active 100. Then, have you found a way to move forward while giving back? Our Wendy Chioji has. We hit the slopes with Wendy as she shines the spotlight on some inspiring men and women who are carving their own path to growing bolder. Those stories and more next. What's most important to you? What really matters? Remember when you thought the future was filled with limitless possibility? It still is. Dreams don't have an expiration date. It's not too late to find your purpose, to live with passion, to make an impact in the lives of others and in the world we live in. Stop growing older and start growing bolder.
Support for Growing Bolder provided by
If you're feeling good, it's all I need to know. You light me up, will you light me up? Tell me how you feeling tonight. Tell me how you feeling tonight.
Hi, I'm Mark Middleton, and this is Growing Bolder. You know, we all arrive at countless intersections in life in which our desires collide with our fears. It's the intersection of need and opportunity, of dreams and reality, of risk and security. So what do? What path do we take? For Benoit Glazer, the risk was especially large, but so was the reward. Benoit Glazer is not one to toot his own horn, but anyone who knows him will tell you he's a unique, talented, and passionate man on a musical mission.
I do everything with intensity. I don't believe in going it halfway, you know, or half-cocked. I just go all the way, everything I do.
Benoit is a multi-instrumentalist, composer, and conductor who played professionally all over the world before moving to Orlando to become the musical director of La Nouba for Cirque du Soleil.
When I came to the United States from Canada 20 years ago in 1998, that was a big change. You know, my wife and 3 young kids and $43,000 in debt, and we just like, okay, let's do it.
Benoit loved working for Cirque, but quickly became restless on his 2 nights off.
It was very hard in 1999, 2000 to find any good live music or anything good happening culturally in Orlando on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. It was hard, and it was so hard that we decided to have a concert at our house.
And we went around and like knocked on our neighbors' doors and like, hey, we're having a concert at the house. It's like, I know, it's a new thing we're trying out. Just come over, bring like a plate of food if you want, crackers, something, share.
Word spread about Benoit's living room concerts, and very quickly, his living room wasn't big enough.
I don't ever remember there being less than, 2 or 3 dozen people coming to the concerts every night.
We would like move the furniture around and invite them with wine and cheese and
And we had like
very friendly.
The first one we had no extra chairs. We just had the chairs we had in the house.
The concert was gaining traction, and so he knocked down one of the walls to make more room for people, and so the living room just got bigger.
I remember there was one night where it was kind of overflowing into the backyard and everything, and so...
I tore down a wall and tore down another wall, and eventually there was no more walls to tear down.
Benoit's passion project had run into the proverbial wall.
I sat down with my wife Hélène and we said, we can pull back on the concerts, or we can put all the money we've ever made and the money we'll ever make into a new house and make this a kind of a more appropriate place, for these kinds of things. And but if we do that, and I'm talking to my wife now, it's like, you realize we won't have the possibility of a comfortable retirement, right? Like because we're blowing it all on this project. And so she says, okay, fine, let's do it. And so we did it.
They found a lot in a neighborhood with plenty of public parking nearby, tore down the existing house, and began building what would become known to musicians worldwide as the White House, with its one-of-a-kind, nearly acoustically perfect 3-story living room.
My name is Benoit, and welcome to the White House. So please help us welcome H2!
The Glazers have hosted over 800 concerts, and the entire family has been an integral part of the project from the very beginning. For the first 15 years, the kids, as young as 2, opened every concert.
If it was jazz, I would teach them some jazz, and we would play jazz together. And just one song, to open the concert. And if it was classical, they played classical. Indian music, they played Indian music. Salsa, they played salsa.
I think music is very important. It's one of the first things children learn, that it's not going to be on the spot right now. I like the fact that it's a long commitment to learn a piece, and the children know that it's not instant reward.
It's Benoit's version of The Sound of Music, and the Glazers are the Von Trapps. It all started with a single concert and a bold desire.
Like, it was just art for art's sake, and there was a need for that. And so that's how that started. That's why we did it, and that's why we still do it, because there's a need for it.
What is the meaning of life? Let's find out. La lucha.
Sunday night is open house at the White House. Guests line up early, bring their own food and wine, and pay whatever they want. Through their Timucua Arts Foundation, the Glazers also present Master Series concerts on weeknights, Saturday afternoon concerts for families and kids, and they teach composition for free Sunday afternoons at the library. In addition, they have their own resident ensemble that plays in other venues around town.
People from all over the world have played here, and without exception, everybody tells me that they have never experienced something exactly quite like this or close to this. Like, it's just different.
Different describes the life Benoit has created for himself, his family, his friends, his community, and for musicians all over the world. All it's taken is a bold vision, years of hard work, and a willingness to risk his financial future.
I don't want to die rich, I want to live rich. I want to live, and then eventually we're going to die, but I hope I'm broke when I die, that's the idea. And so, because I want to contribute something to the society, to the world. But, I want to leave the world a better place than when I found it.
Wow, there is so much we can learn from Benoit, but here are 4 quick takeaways. We have to learn to embrace some level of risk-taking. Sure, the couch is secure, but the lazy boy isn't going to get you to what's next. We're encouraged to take risk when we're young, but it becomes far more difficult as we age. This is the age of opportunity. If not now, when? A personal dream is powerful, but a shared dream creates synergy and generates power. All of the best teams in the world, corporate or sports teams, are motivated by a shared goal. Engaging in the arts is good for you. Creativity is the gift that keeps on giving. Of course, nothing beats participating in the arts, painting, dancing, playing an instrument, but research has proven that simply enjoying the arts, going to a museum or a concert, also has significant health benefits. And finally, get a posse. Good friends are the loneliness, depression, and cognitive decline vaccine. Good friends are the best medicine there is. Stephen Jepson is another risk-taker and out-of-the-box thinker. Jepson built a playground of possibility in his own backyard, a living laboratory where he works to develop mobility, dexterity, flexibility, and coordination using games, tools, and techniques that he designs and builds himself. Jepson is now in his mid-70s and says learning new motor skills as we age helps prevent everything from falls to brain disease.
My memory has become absolutely intense since beginning to do all this stuff. I don't forget things.
Another risk taker is Growing Boulder Medical Director Dr. Robert Masson. He's not only a world-renowned spine surgeon, he went from never driving a race car to taking up the sport in his mid-50s and earning a spot in the Rolex 24 at Daytona International Speedway in less than 4 years. Dr. Masson not only competed in one of the most prestigious sports car races in the world, he finished second in a field that included the biggest names in racing. He did it through focused goal setting, and he says you can too.
There are a few fundamentals that are so critical to success in anything, and you have to have positivity, you have to have realistic vision, and then you have to have enough organizational capability to create a strategy that actually can work. But I passionately believe that those fundamental goals create the foundation for the focus, the vision, the execution, the strategy. And without that optimism and positivity towards something meaningful, and there's no question we should tone it down a little bit as we get older, but to give up on life dreams and goals is the worst thing a person can do for their mental and physical health.
More information about these stories and the people we've introduced you to is available at growingboulder.com/TV.
Well, if you want to feel more fulfilled, give your life more meaning, having a purpose has a profound effect on how motivated we are, how alive we feel, and how we deal with the challenges we all face as we age. Well, we're about to meet a fascinating woman. She's 98 years old. She still works, still lives alone, and still drives her car. And even though she's had a pretty hard life, she still looks forward to every day as much as ever. And what's it like to be 98?
Well, a lot of people ask me that. I don't see any difference in, sometimes I think I'm 15. They say, girl, don't you know how old you are? You're trying to do this or you're trying to do that. I just love to work. I'm a workaholic, you can say. As long as I'm working, I feel real good, I don't feel bad at all. I could work all day from 9 to 5 and don't feel a pain. Boy, let me come home. After I get off from work, then I can feel it, But as long as I'm working, I'm fine.
So you're born in 1920. And you've lived much of your life in Eatonville, Florida, the town that's famous for Zora Neale Hurston.
That's right.
You never met her, did you?
Oh, yeah. I met Zora. I used to go to her house and wash her dishes. And she'd give me a dime, and boy, that meant so much to me. A dime was a lot of money back then.
Has it been tough for you financially since your husband passed?
I've had my days. Who hasn't? Sometimes they just make ends meet, with prices the way they are. Social Security gives me a little bit. If I wasn't making a little on the side, I couldn't make it.
No walker, no wheelchair?
No walker, no wheelchair, no cane.
You hop in your car and off you go.
There you go. That's me.
Are you a good driver?
I think so. Because my pastor got up in church and said, Miss Peters, will you please stop driving so fast in front of everybody? So I've been trying to slow down. I would like to be in a speed race. I would love that.
You're in your car at 98 years old, picking up other people to give them rides to church, rides to their programs. You're volunteering in nursing homes where most of the people are younger than you.
Right. Most of them, all of them are.
A lot of people probably, when they ask you how old you are, they shake their head in disbelief. Does it bother you? Do you kind of get tired of people assuming that because you're a certain age, you're probably...
A lot of time I ask them, I said, well, how is a 98-year-old person supposed to be? What do you think about them? But you just ain't like no 98-year-old person. I said, well, how are they supposed to be? How is it? Nobody ever can tell me. Everybody wants to be like me. Miss Peters, I want to be just like you when I grow up. I said, why wait till you grow up? Why don't you start now?
Annie lives like she doesn't have a care in the world. We were stunned to find out that she does. Just a few weeks before this interview, she was diagnosed with cancer.
Well, they say they found a spot on my kidneys. Anyway, I told them I didn't want them to cut on me at this age of the stage of the game. So they said, wasn't nothing else they could do.
Do you think about death? Do you think about...
She started me thinking about it, you know. So I hadn't even thought about it. I say, I'm gonna live until I die. I'm not going until my time comes. So why worry about something you have no control over?
What are the things that you see through 98-year-old eyes that the rest of us, that you wish the rest of us would figure out?
How beautiful the world is. A lot of people say, boy, this is mean old world, but it's only mean if you make it mean, you know? If you have good thoughts about it, then it's a nice place to be.
So what do you hope we learn from you, from your attitude?
You're no older than you feel. Just don't think about it. But that's the way I am. I just don't think about it. I just go on and do my daily work, and I get along fine. I guess I'm kind of special.
She is so much fun to hang out with and so many lessons to learn from her too. First, she says stay busy. Whether it's a job, a hobby, whatever, stay busy. It challenges your mind and it keeps your body moving. Also, she says live until you die. Don't worry about how long you live, just worry about how you live. Try to brush off the bad, focus on the good, and truly appreciate each day. Finally, she says, you're as old as you think, so don't think. So when people say, Annie, I want to be just like you when I grow up, she says, don't wait. Start living the way you really want to live right now. Great lessons from a very special 98-year-old Annie Peters.
Opportunity always seemed to find broadcasting legend Jane Pauley. From her work to her personal life, things just always seemed to fall into place for her. Then, when she was in her mid-50s, the phone suddenly stopped ringing. In a candid conversation, Jane talks with Growing Bolder about her struggles and her reluctance to reinvent herself, and reveals how it ultimately became one of the most rewarding phases of her life.
It took about, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, 4 years of poking around and trying. I wasn't just sitting on my sofa watching the Home Shopping Network. I was really working the problem, but it took just getting up and doing something that inspired something else, that inspired the Your Life Calling series, which I made happen. I made that happen. Part of my message, if you will, is making something happen. And I think for much of our lives, certainly most of mine, what I did and who I married was dependent on who Tom Brokaw invited to dinner. And the opportunities I had seemed to come to me, and only recently have I given myself the credit for having said, okay, you know, yes. But then at some point, you have to make things happen. You know, it would be too easy for me to kind of sink into a natural inertia. Inertia is one of my best things. I'm either full ahead or kind of not. So I need this message. I need to hear myself say it in order to live it.
Jane's struggles haven't been limited to just her professional life. In fact, she's been very open about her bipolar disorder, something she wasn't diagnosed with until she was 50 years old. She's published a memoir called Skywriting, A Life Out of the Blue, in which she talks about her childhood, her marriage, her career, and something even celebrities and Olympic champions struggle with, self-doubt.
Hi, I'm Rowdy Gaines, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. One of the biggest factors that keeps us from achieving our dreams is self-doubt. We have it because we fear failure. We fear embarrassment. We fear letting others down. We all have it. It's just that some are better than others at overcoming it. Here's a secret. The people who become good at something are the people who were okay with being bad at it, at least for a while. Most of us quit something far too soon. Those who become a success are able to endure the frustration of early struggles because they believe in their potential. Life is a series of non-stop course corrections. Being bad at something is a necessary part of the process of becoming good at it. So believe in your potential and don't be paralyzed by self-doubt. Know that you can master new challenges if you stick with it. How long will it take? If it's something you really love, it doesn't matter.
Some powerful words of wisdom from Rowdy Gaines and Jane Pauley. More information and inspiration to help you on your Growing Bolder journey is available anytime, 24/7 at growingbolder.com/launch.
Mark and Bill, today we're talking about the National Ability Center here at Park City Mountain. It's a program that gets folks with disabilities and challenges back doing athletic endeavors they never thought possible. Back in 1985, the ski program gave a dozen lessons. Last year, 5,000. We're going to show you what it's all about right now.
Kick forward at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
23 years ago, Lisa Nelson survived bone cancer, but doctors took her left hip. She's been in a wheelchair ever since. 23 years ago, Patricia Stokes started teaching adaptive skiing. She came to the National Ability Center in 2002. She's Lisa's instructor this week. Lisa is here with a group from MD Anderson Cancer Center. They come for a week every year. This is her third week in a bi-ski. She controls her turns with these outriggers, ski poles with ski tips on the end. She's already pretty good.
I'm very fast. I have some issues controlling my speed on the hill. It's a lot of fun. I'm getting better at that, controlling my turns a little bit. It's a really neat experience because probably 85% of my day is in a wheelchair. So it's a very neat experience to be flying down a mountain.
Patricia's tethered to Lisa's bi-ski to keep her from going too fast.
Center. Right. Dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it.
Patricia teaches all kinds of challenged skiers. Some have autism, amputations, spinal cord injuries. Last year, she was the NAC's Instructor of the Year.
All ski instructors look at what their skiers can do and try to maximize their strengths and their abilities. We do exactly the same thing, but sometimes our students have greater challenges.
Patricia was a hospital administrator, but chose this job instead, following her passion. Oh, and in case you're wondering, she's 60.
I get to work with people who either believe or have been told they can't, and I get to help them see that they can. And they experience freedom and they experience independence, and I am fortunate enough to be part of that.
What's your target right now? Good.
Lisa loves this. She's not afraid. She feels the need for speed.
It's like riding a roller coaster. Like the first couple of seconds you lose your stomach and then you can't wait to go again.
Got a new ski team member.
For Growing Bolder, I'm Wendy Chioji.
That is one amazing human being. You know, we couldn't be any prouder to call Wendy our friend and Growing Bolder colleague. She inspires us all to embrace the spirit of moving forward and giving back. She's a champion and passionate fundraiser for organizations that raise money and awareness for cancer treatments, clinical trials, and more. She also continues to ski, travel the world, and pursue her own adventures, even as she battles a rare and aggressive form of cancer in her own life. So, how do you make a difference like Wendy or live up to your potential like Rowdy? How do you overcome fear like Jane, embrace growing older like Annie, or take a big, bold risk like Benoit? The first step is always the hardest. It's the single step that most people can't take and the single reason that most never achieve their dreams. Success is, more than anything else, an act of faith, and at some point, we have to take a leap of faith. Calculated strategic risk-taking has always been and always will be the path to success, especially as we age. If you exert a consistent level of intent, you will get to where you want to go. But if not, life, the universe, will push you around. Circumstances that have nothing to do with you will exert a great deal of control over your life. You'll be buffeted about by chance and the impact of random events. You might get lucky, who knows? You may also win the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Mark Twain said, "Go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is." This Mark says, "Start growing bolder." We'll see you next time.
Support for Growing Bolder provided by More information about all of the stories you've seen here today is available at growingbolder.com/TV. And you can get inspired to keep rebranding aging when you connect with the Growing Bolder community on Facebook.
Growing Bolder apparel is available for $25 plus shipping and handling. A companion book, Growing Bolder, Defy the Cult of Youth, Live with Passion and Purpose by Mark Middleton, is available as well for $25 plus shipping and handling. And you can subscribe to Growing Bolder magazine, 4 quarterly issues for $29.97 a year. Order online at growingbolder.com/TV.